back to the SA Sports Show. Time to talk a little bit of netball, Timmy.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit of netball. It's all happening with netball, but this is a bit of a different one. We have a Contax player in with us today.
Yes.
But also sitting with is what you probably call a mentor. Yeah. So I want to welcome to the show Stewart McCully and Eliza Hunter. Eliza is from Contax.
Yeah.
And Stewie is from Next Level Elite. And I believe that Eliza has been doing a little bit of work. Welcome to the program, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. Start with you, Eliza. Tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're at the moment. I noticed that you were a reserves player for Contax, just doing nothing. Well, not doing nothing, but
she's playing.
You're playing, but you know, if you know what I mean, you were just a reserve player. Now, tell us the story from there, because you are now a regular player with the seniors, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us your story.
So I started playing for Contax in 2018, I think, when I moved here for boarding school. And I was always sort of exposed to the environment, like training with them and everything like that. It was probably 2020 where I started playing consistently in the reserves, and then 2021 when I was full-time co-captain with one of my players. And then I was sort of just stuck for the next 2 years just at reserves. I benched pretty much 2 years straight up in Premier League, but only got 2 or so minutes. Like, it's a bit of a cutthroat thing. But I was just stuck at reserves, and I just didn't know sort of what I had to do to then get to that next level. And there were senior players that were very good ahead of you. So you do sit back and go, what do I need to do to beat these girls? But yeah.
So this is where you get introduced to Stewie. Now, I believe you got a southeast connection there where you both come from. So how was the introduction formalised?
I believe it was a colleague of mine ran into I think Eliza's parents, and they were talking, as most parents do. They go, "Oh, my son or daughter's sort of struggling with this or that," and they said, "You should get on to Stewart McCully. That's what he does." It's like, oh, does this sort of exist? And this is what I sort of get from quite a few different people, is that people are not too sure who to go to or where this sort of occurs. And so anyway, we were introduced, and we went and met and just had a chat, because it's really important, I think, from my point of view, because parents can say, go and talk with Stewie, but from my point of view, it's really important that I meet with the individual, because they've got to be able to trust me, okay, and they've got to be able to be honest and open about things, knowing that I'm the independent. I'm Switzerland, so I'm not their parent, I'm not their coach, I'm not their boss, but make it really clear to them that I'm there to listen to what your hurdles are, and then we work through the gears and work out a bit of a plan. So that's sort of what happened with Eliza. So I had to sit down and say, what's been happening, where you're trying to go, and what's stopping you from moving forward. So that's probably a good chance for you to talk about, you know, what was happening and what you need to change.
Well, that's got to be a great start when somebody is approaching you, rather than you going to them or whatever. If an athlete is going to approach you to help in their preparation or abilities or whatever, that's got to be a good start, because they want that. And I think that's
Correct.
important. That there's no good going to you if they don't really care.
No.
So that's got to be a good start if they're going to approach you.
Yeah, and it's got to come from the athlete. The athlete needs to be in a point where they go, I know I want to do other things, but I'm just not sure. They can feel like they're on a bit of a roundabout, not sure where to go and who to listen to. And it can be tricky within your own sport, because you don't want to say to the coach, I don't know how to get up there. So that's where I use the examples from athletes from all different sports I've learnt, and sort of have those conversations to normalise it with the individual, to say, you know, this happens with a lot of people. So whether it's the overthinking, confidence, it's the motivation, or just the way they're going about their preparation and their routines. So that's where I'll sort of ask the right questions and draw out that information, which I was doing with Eliza, and go, all right, what do we need to adjust to change a few habits?
So Eliza, what was your first impressions of Stewie?
I thought he was great.
And in your own mind, where were you at that moment? And after the first session, you thought, was there a bit of a pathway for you moving forward?
Yeah, so I spoke with my coaches a lot at the end of the season before I started seeing Stewie, and they were like talking with my parents and stuff about pushing me maybe to someone external outside of netball, which I think just helped a lot, like having someone's opinion that's not in your circle. And yeah, it really helped.
You know, your mission statement, I had a good read of the Next Level Elite mission statement, if you like, and what caught me was the last line. And you just mentioned it there a second ago. We offer an independent viewpoint. I think this is important. Not the parent, coach, teacher or boss. Now, I think that's important. So this is coming from outside. This is coming from someone who's not involved. We know what parents are like. Sometimes they, you know, I'm the same, we're all the same. Yeah, go on, push, not push, but help, try and help as much as you can. But that's interesting. There's an independent viewpoint. So it's not coming from netball, if you like, or whatever. So I quite like that mission statement. I think that's a great idea.
And it doesn't really matter what the sport is either. So yes, I need to understand a bit about some of those sports, and I've got to learn the jargon and the ins and outs of sports, because I need to be able to talk some of the language.
Yeah.
But what it also does is it allows me to be using some of those examples that other athletes are going through, and use that example to share that. So I don't want to tell people what to do. My role is to share information, to think this I think will be helpful. So I put it on the table, and then that's for the individual to go away and have a bit of a crack at trying some of those things. And then when we meet up the next time, my job is to keep them accountable, to say, how'd you go with that? Did it work? Do we need to change it, etc.? And that's been the journey with Eliza.
So Eliza, has your mental preparation to game day changed since going through the program?
Yeah, so I think when I first met Stewie, I was at a pretty low netball point. I did get sent off in my semi-final and we ended up losing, but I was still benching for the league grand final, so I still had to separate from we didn't make it, but I'm benching this grand final. But mental preparation before a game is a lot different now. I did overthink pretty much everything, but it's just that quick switch off when you make a mistake on court to then go to the next play, rather than just dwelling on it like I always used to do, which I still do now, but it's a lot better.
What'd you do to get sent off?
Assistant obstruction. So it wasn't nothing too bad, but it was just a couple cautions.
Not even bad language.
No.
What'd you get done for? What'd you get done for?
Assistant obstruction.
Yeah. That's what you've been doing all your life.
All my life. I wouldn't have spent a second on court. Shall we back to you, mate? I like your program, I really do, but it's not just sports people that you guys are involved with. You've got, I know that you were involved with the Darren Lehman Academy, I know that you were in there, but it's not just sport. We're talking business, we're talking all fields, really.
Yeah, absolutely, and I sort of learnt that quite quickly. My passion is working with athletes. That's the sweet spot. But found out quite quickly, talking to other people, that this is the same for mums and dads or coaches or just people in general who are dealing with the same topics. It's that managing overthinking. When you talk to them about that, they start nodding their head, going, "Yeah, that's me." So what are those little examples that we can, put in front of them to start having a try at changing the way they go about it, and just thinking differently. Yeah.
I like it. I'm happy with that. It's a bit late for me.
A bit late, but you could have done with it a bit early. Eliza, your preparation now, how would your week look compared to what it used to look like?
Well, it's a lot different. I'm at a different point in life now. I'm in my final years of uni, so it is ramped up a bit, so I'm quite busy. I like to keep busy during the week anyway. I also have just a casual job as well, but I like everything organised, and especially game day. I'll go get a coffee down at Henley with my teammates every Friday morning, but not much. I don't really overthink it too much, but just be very organised.
Excellent.
Now, we're running out of time. Very quickly, we're at Contax at the minute. What are we doing? What's the season? Where are we at?
We're looking good this season. So we obviously lost last year, but hoping to take that next step next year and hopefully get the grand final win.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Try and stay on the court though, if you can.
Yeah.
As long as you
does
can.
help,
Because that helps. That helps. But thanks very much for coming in, Stewart. You too. Good luck with the program. I can see it's going really well anyway. But good luck for the season with you too, Eliza. Thanks very much for joining us. Back with more in just a moment.